Hello to all you beautiful people out there. Regnilla over here bringing you a long and overdue video of Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. Yes, I took a bit of a sabbatical due to some personal reasons, but I'm here bringing you an episode featuring the Barioth in the low rank guild hall. Just as a disclaimer, some of these quests have already been done before, primarily on the other account that I was using for the main tutorial, but a lot of the footage I tried to do, it was through live streams, and trying to download live streams off of YouTube is apparently a big ask because the quality was absolute shite and a half. So I have to re-record a bunch of stuff and just try to make it work again, just from scratch. And it kind of killed a lot of that motivation, you know? But you know, we're back here in the tundra, so as a reminder, bring your hot drinks with you because it's going to be freezing and your stamina meter is going to be going down the drain, unless of course you're using a mega dash juice or just a regular dash juice, and from there it's not really that much of an issue. So let's recap Barioth. You know, our Fanged wyvern here that is really fast. So when going after this monster, your first area that you should be attacking is the wings. If you think attacking the head is going to be the first area that you need to go towards, you are absolutely wrong, because the best way to fight this monster is to cripple him first. Yes, that does sound very mean and overly sadistic, but when fighting this monster in just about every iteration that he's in, that's the way that you want to go. So break those wings, you slow him down considerably, and then you could start breaking the other parts there. So that would be the two wings, you got the face, and then you got that tail cut that you can do. Your main thing to look out for, once again, is going to be not just his speed, but his frost breath as well, because that will give you the snowman effect, and I believe you will need a cleanser in order to get rid of that. I mean, I understand the name of it, but it kind of looks like sort of a cold-ish drink or something, so trying to get snow off you using a drink is probably going to take a while, but thankfully in this game it's super quick. But for the most part, yeah, it's largely the same fight, only he's going to have more health since this is the guild hall. So when you're first fighting him, it should be in the village quests just to make sure that you are getting familiar with the sort of monsters that you're going to be after. But once you start going for those guild quests, especially either in the low rank and even more so in the high rank, there's going to be a larger pool of health that you have to worry about. And then in the high rank portion, they probably have new attacks, and well, they're going to hit a lot harder. But the upside is that you're going to get better loot and all that. So my strategy here is to save my flash bombs for whenever he goes in the rage mode, and this is pretty much any time I'm facing what amounts to a pseudo wyvern. So that includes monsters like Barioth, that's Tigrex, and Nargacuga. When they go into rage mode, that's when I throw that flash bomb, because they're going to be running around erratic anyway. So to just give myself some breathing room, I like to make sure that they're stunned. And that way, in the event that I need to set up a trap or do some crafting, it gives me a moment or two of relief. That way I can go ahead and get some things done in between swings. But of course, Generation 3 and above, you have to worry about the monster growing a resistance to any status effects, and that includes being flashed. It's one of the features I just don't like at Generation 3 onward is that resistance. But if there's one change that I really didn't like when it comes to just flash bomb mechanics, it's probably in Monster Hunter World, where let's say for instance you flash a Rathalos while he's in midair, he's not going to immediately fall to the ground. It's kind of annoying. So at the very least it could be worse. But you know, it's still a very fast monster, so traps would probably be the #1 thing that you want in addition to flash bombs. So set some traps up, take some swings at those wings. Focus on one wing at a time if you can. That way, if you break one, you've just hindered him about maybe, I'd say about 25%. And then if you break both, then you've just reduced his movement down like 50%. And just about any single attack that he does that isn't something that where he stands in place, where instead he just jumps around, he's going to have a bit of a delay in order to recover from that movement. Something else that you could maybe bring are some barrel bombs too. So if you have the ability to set up some barrel bombs, let's say before the Barioth notices you, get that trap down, get some barrel bombs up, get him trapped, you can break his wings that much faster. Also, having the part breaker ability would be very nice too, especially if you're trying to fight this guy in later generations where he is so much more brutal. Like, I'm thinking, what's it, Monster Hunter World Iceborne? I think he makes an appearance there, as well as a variation of him, and he's actually pretty nasty. But so long as you break those wings, you're basically neutering this monster, which I like, and more monsters should be affected by. Like, there are some monsters out there that it should be, if you do damage to that body part and you break it, it should affect their movement in most cases. But the Barioth is probably the only monster I can think of at the moment where it's significant enough to really mean something. In other cases, like say breaking a Rathalos's wings, I mean, yeah, visually it looks like it's broken, but it doesn't hinder its ability to fly, or for at least if it does, it's not by much. Next up, let's talk about the Barioth and the various carves that he has, starting with the 3 body carves that you can get off of him. So with the 43%, you got a Barioth shell. At 28%, you got a frost sack. Barioth pelts come in at 19%, and amber tusks come at 10%. When his tail is cut off, you can get a single carve there, and you have a 55% chance of getting a Barioth tail, a 30% chance of getting a Barioth shell, and a 15% chance of getting a Barioth spike. If you decide to capture the monster, which I don't know why you do, because on this channel we don't capture the monsters, we end them nice and painfully. But if you decide to be a heretic and you go and capture them anyway for the arena, you have a 31% chance of getting amber tusks, you have a 25% chance of getting a Barioth claw, frost sack comes in at 20%, a Barioth spike comes in at 15%, and the Barioth pelt comes at 9%. For wounding this monster, if you destroy the tusks, you have a 45% chance of getting a Barioth shell, which is kind of weird since they're not really shells. 37% chance of getting the amber tusks, which that should be more like a 70% chance if you're destroying the tusks there. Frost sack comes at 18%. And if you damage the wings, you get a 47% chance of a Barioth pelt, a 38% chance of a Barioth claw, a 15% chance of a Barioth spike, and if you get the shiny drops, which comes from when the monster eats a popo or a what's those other little deer called? Not the kelbies, the other ones. It's been so long I've forgotten the name. But if you capture him while if you get him while he's eating, he will drop a shiny, or if he's trying to get at you from above, he may drop a shiny there as well. You have a 60% chance of getting a Wyvern Tear, a 24% chance of getting a Barioth Spike, and a 16% chance at a Frost Sack. Now, it seems like the 2 rarest items on this list happen to be the Amber Tusks and the Frost Sack. Sort of depending on what you're trying to do with this monster. If you want the Amber Tusks, doing the breaks and doing the capture is probably the way to go. But if you want the Frost Sacks, then it's I think that one relies a little bit more on luck. So I think on this list, I'm gonna say that the Frost Sack would be the rarest, even though the Amber Tusks would come in at a very close second. But I'm still kind of not over the information on this list here where the Amber Tusks, for breaking the tusks, is only 37%. That should be way higher. So I'm getting this from the Monster Hunter fandom, so this information here could be wrong. You never know. But this is just the information provided in front of me, so if I'm doing misinformation, it is by pure accident only. So do with that what you will. But that's going to do it for me and this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested in any of my other content, make sure you hit on one of the annotations that will be featured at the end of this video. And while I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back, I will see you all again next time. Take care, people.